5 years ago, I made this video, and it was talking about a Kickstarter for a game called Fallen City Brawl. And I wanted to bring more attention to the Kickstarter because I was really excited about it. This was a game that I saw a lot of potential in, and I really wanted to play it. Sadly, the Kickstarter campaign was not a success. It didn't meet its goal, so therefore it wasn't funded, and I became very sad. But here we are in the summer of 2025, and Fallen City Brawl is a thing. It's a real game, and you can buy it today. Oh, and before I go any further, please consider checking out my retroguiden.com website. Link is in the description below. It's a Mastodon server for retro game enthusiasts. Check it out. I've played a lot of beat-em-up games, a whole lot, and I've got a lot of things to say about this game. Some good things, some bad things, mostly good though. There's a lot of things that I like about this game, and right off the bat, whenever I first load up the game, I see the insert coin dialogue at the bottom of the screen, and obviously you can't insert a coin into your PC, but it's a nice throwback. It's a nice throwback to the late 80s, early 90s era of arcade games when beat-em-ups were king. This is a two-player co-op game. You can play it with a friend all the way through to the end. There are 4 playable characters: Sergeant Clay, Rico, Natasha, and Iron Jackson. And each of these 4 characters has similar attributes, but they have a little bit of uniqueness to them to make them separate from the others. Like Iron Jackson, he's a very big and slow but powerful character, whereas Natasha's very quick, and her special move is a giant ass wrench that she throws out and it comes right back like a boomerang. The other 2 characters, Sergeant Clay and Rico, are basically like the middle ground characters. They are just kind of good all-arounders, and they're good starter characters. I'm gonna get my initial impressions out of the way. There are a lot of things that I really enjoy about this game, and when you're playing it, you really notice, you pick up on all the little things and all the little influences that made this game what it is. Aesthetically, it kind of looks like a Neo Geo game, and it reminds me of one because of the way it zooms in and zooms out. It kind of reminds me of Art of Fighting or Samurai Showdown on the Neo Geo. I loved that effect as a kid, just seeing it like zoom out and zoom in and make the characters really big on screen. I thought that was really cool back in the day, and it's still fun to see it in newer games like Fallen City Brawl. And if that's not your fancy, you can disable that effect in the settings, in the options, but I don't know why you would want to because it's cool. And the soundtrack is really good. The soundtrack is surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. I was kind of expecting it to be just kind of background music and totally forgettable, but the music here is actually quite good. And when you're listening to the music, if you can actually take a moment, take a pause from the action and listen to the music, you can tell that they were heavily influenced by Final Fight, Streets of Rage, and others, because they have like little notes, little clues in the songs to remind you of these other games without like blatantly stealing from it. So it's a very cool thing to hear. Especially, you know, someone like me who grew up playing Final Fight, Streets of Rage, all these beat-em-up games of the past, and, you know, I'm hearing it, I'm like, hey, that sounds like Final Fight, or hey, that sounds like Streets of Rage. It was really cool. It was really cool to hear for the first time. I also love how whenever the enemies drop cash and gems on the ground and you go to pick them up, how the item just kind of flies into the corner, flies into your character's UI, their health bar. It's just a cool little effect, and it reminds me of Narc, the arcade game Narc. Remember that? Oh man, that's a game. That is a game. That's one of the games that exists, and you should play it. So there's lots of little influences from various games, various game developers, and they're all kind of incorporated here in such a cool way to where you wouldn't know it unless you know what I'm saying? So every character has a basic 4-hit combo. You can end the combo by either launching the opponent up in the air, so you can start a juggle. You can do like an air combo and juggle them in the air, or you can do a wall bounce and continue the combo off that way. So that's pretty cool. You have some options there. Every character also has a special move by pressing the Y button, which you can customize your button layout. So if you have like an arcade stick or a special controller, or if you just don't like the default controller layout, you can customize everything to your liking. In addition to the special move, you have a counter. So you can press forward, and whatever button you set as the counter, by default it's X, and it will do that. It'll do exactly that. You have to time it just right to where if you're getting hit by a enemy's attack and you do a counter, you'll hit them and then it'll reward you by dropping gems or coins. And the gameplay is really solid. It's fun to pull off all these combos and like the air juggles, and when you have so many enemies on screen, it's easy to just lose your character, but it's fun once you find them and you start smashing enemies again. But the game feels really good. I'm just saying, it's a very good feeling game. The controls are tight, responsive. It feels like a new arcade game that's also kind of old but new. And there are 7 levels in the game. All 7 of these levels look very unique from each other. There's no 2 levels that have the same music or the same look to them. They're all very unique in their own way, and they're all very memorable. And I also appreciate the little environmental details that the developer added, such as punching bags in the gym. Whenever you walk up against them, they move. Or tall grass. There's a stage with some really tall grass, and it looks fantastic in this pixel style. I just love it. It looks great, and it's a cool addition, and it's only on that one stage. And my personal favorite is when you're walking in the snow. It's a fresh blanket of snow, but as you walk through it, you leave tracks, and you mess up the snow, and it's not perfect anymore. That's a really cool touch. None of those things affect the gameplay at all, but they are all very nice touches and very much appreciated by players. And by players, I mean me. And the game gives you plenty of tools that you can use to dispatch your enemies, such as oil drums, boxes, sledgehammers, and baseball bats. You can even pick up motorcycles and snowmobiles. And on the surface, this game is just a regular old, straightforward beat 'em up. You pick a character, you start your quest, and you just defeat waves and waves of enemies. And you can play the game on the default difficulty, which is default. And if you play it on this difficulty, you'll be able to experience the game, get a feel for it, try the characters, play through the stages, get the story, get the whole experience, which is great. And you can play through it with a friend. So if you are playing a 2-player game and maybe you or the other person isn't really experienced in beat 'em ups, maybe it's just not their cup of tea and they're not super great at it, default difficulty will do you just great. But in my time of playing this game, I realized there's a game inside of there. Because unlike all the other games that are beat 'em ups, this game has a very, very heavy focus on score, your high score. When you defeat enemies, they drop gems, these little diamonds, and whenever you pick them up, it goes into your riot meter located here. And the meter has 3 levels. You have your first level, second level, and third level. The first level will grant you an attack bonus, so your attacks do more damage, and your score multiplier goes up, so every hit and every defeat of every enemy is worth more points, and enemies drop red coins, which are worth a whole lot of points. Level 2 will do all those things, but it also summons some sort of thing that's unique to that character that damages all the other characters, all the other enemies on screen. And level 3 summons what's called chaos enemies, and these are like multicolored ninjas, multicolored ethereal ninjas, and they will ruin your day if you let them. But the reason why it summons these enemies, like, well, why would I want to spend all my crap just to fight more enemies? Because of points. Points. Defeating these chaos enemies gives you a crap ton of points, and they drop a crap ton of coins and gems and all kinds of stuff that gives you tons of points. So ideally, you just want to keep on defeating these guys over and over again and keep summoning them as often as possible in order to get your score as high as possible, which makes the game more challenging but also gives you a higher score reward, so you can be number 1 on the leaderboard. So in my opinion, this game is like it's a score chaser disguised as a beat 'em up, and it's so much fun to play through. Like you can play through this game pretty quickly, especially if you're good at it, and you can try different strategies and try to maximize your points and get as many points as possible per level, and it is just a blast. It is so fun to play. It's such a fun game to play, and it's so fun to try to maximize your points. And then there's the hard mode. If you bump it up from the default difficulty to hard, the enemies, there's so many more enemies. I think there's at least 2 or 3 times more enemies, and they seem more aggressive as well. So if you're not careful, they will rip you a new one. I recorded a full playthrough of this game on hard difficulty where I ended up getting 30.5 million points, which is a ridiculous number. But I think that once this game is out for a week or two, someone's gonna come along and just totally dethrone me and destroy my score. There's just a lot of potential there, because if you watch my run, I played pretty good, but man, I screwed up real bad in a couple parts, whereas I could have had way more points, but of course I didn't because I'm a spaz, and I dropped the ball. But you get what I mean. This game is a score chaser. It's so much fun to try to beat your high score and play through the game. It's just a fun game to play. Like at face value, just playing through the game regular on default difficulty is a fun experience, and it is worth $15. But when you factor in the hard mode and trying to get as many points as possible and trying to maximize your combos and do all the things that the game gives you, like use all the tools correctly that the game gives you, it is a whole lot of fun. Like, holy crap, this is fun. And the action is so fast and chaotic on screen. Like I said, it's easy to lose track of where you even are. There's just crap happening everywhere, and I friggin' love it. Okay, so with that being said, there are a few things that I have that are nitpicky about the game that I would like to see changed, and they kind of bring down the overall experience, but it is what it is. It's great as it is. But if I could change anything, this is what they would be. First of all the stages are about the same length, and they're about the same layout. It's just a horizontal plane that you're walking from left to right, and that is it. There's no elevator stage. There's no vertical movement stage where you have to like go down or go all the way up. Nothing like that. No motorbike stages. It's just all 7 stages look different and they have different music, but they're the same but different. I also don't like how you don't get any points whenever you use an item against an enemy. So if you pick up a wooden box and you throw it and you smash an enemy with it, 0 points. But if you walk over to that box and punch it and break it, you'll get some points. So it seems kind of silly that like one would give you points and one wouldn't. I also don't like how your special attack, the character's special attack, by pressing the Y button, it consumes you only have a limited amount of those special attacks. You can't just spam it over and over again because you have a limited amount of them. So they're limited use. And whenever you do use them, they don't seem like they do really a whole lot of damage. They kind of just buy you some time. Like it kind of stuns the enemies or knocks them down and they just get right back up. I would like to see them be more powerful and more widespread. So like Sergeant Clay, when he busts out his shotgun and shoots, it's not just like the enemies that are in that exact line of sight right in front of him. I wish it would be like a wider spread and knock out like half the screen, boom, and knock them all down and do more damage too. Like make it's a limited resource, so it should be better than what it is, in my opinion. And if you watch my playthrough where I got a ridiculously high score, I barely use that. I barely use the shotgun. I barely use the special attacks because it's like I don't really need to do that. It doesn't give me a lot of points. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's not super effective. I just don't use it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to use those things. It's fun to shoot people with a shotgun in the game, but I just don't do it. And the counter also, I barely ever use because I often forget it exists because whenever I do try to use it, I don't time it just right and I just get hit by the enemy. So I would like to see that do more damage. So if you can successfully pull off a counter, it should do more damage to the enemy and drop more rewards. Like you should get a bigger reward for it pulling that off. Be a better incentive to use that counter more regularly, in my opinion, if they did that. So, but I will say overall, I'm gonna go ahead and rate this game a 9 out of 10. Buy it today. If you are a fan of beat 'em ups, you owe it to yourself to buy Fallen City Brawl. You need to play it. You need to play it. If you enjoy Streets of Rage, and Final Fight, and Knights of the Round, and Rival Turf, and just all the other beat 'em ups that exist, if you enjoyed any of them, you're gonna love Fallen City Brawl, I guarantee it. But that is my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out my full playthrough. I'll link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. It's quite long because I left in everything. And if you've played the game, let me know what you think about it, and I will be happy to read your comments. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day.